just start with a little like Le Wagon presentation. Feel free to go grab a beer. You know the drill already. Lucas, can I put you as co-host and you accept people if they enter?
Okay, can I accept everyone?
Yes, you can accept anyone.
Okay.
Just if people appear while I will be talking, like Bernardo right now. Can you see people appearing in the waiting room?
No.
Can you
Yes,
see
now I
everyone
can
in the
see.
waiting room? Okay, you can add me.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So, uh, start, and you will see my screen.
Not yet.
I do see.
Now?
Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
no,
So,
done.
of course, this presentation is not for you guys, it's for the ones who don't know Le Wagon yet. But still, I wanted to thank you all for being with us tonight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being a part of the community. I'm so happy to have you all here. I have this feeling, that when you have some best friends meeting other best friends and you can't wait for them to meet, it's exactly my feeling right now. So for the ones who don't know Le Wagon, we're a coding school, and not any coding school. We're the best one in the world. If you go and switch up course report, you can see that students rank us as the best coding school right now. And we have a very big and strong community around the world. Initially, our school is French, just like my accent. And now we have been present in actually 38 cities around the world. And you can be learning how to code in Rio, São Paulo, Belo Horizonte, Buenos Aires, but also Melbourne, Tokyo, Singapore. It's a very strong and international community. And a lot of people think that Le Wagon is only to become a developer, and it's very true. Half of our students become developers, but actually a lot of them do other stuff. They build companies, they become tech workers for big tech companies, working as product managers, UX designer, any type of role where they need these skills of understanding how a developer works. And right now we're super happy that we also have a data science bootcamp. We started just this year in Brazil, and it was such a success that we decided next year to launch the part-time program. And here's a message for all our alumni. If you want to do it, you have a 20% discount. Yay. So yeah, basically we have the web dev program, which is for beginners. If you don't know anything about programming, this is for you. If you have some basics in programming and you're really good in math and statistics, algebra, all this stuff, I will invite you to start the data science bootcamp. And on something else, I wanted to invite all of you, if you don't have any notion in programming and you'd like to experience what it's like to have a class at Le Wagon, then you will very welcome in our Programação para Todos program. It's basically a free class program. The first one, you will be building a prototype with Figma. The second one, you'll be building a landing page of your dream product. And the last one, you'll be improving it. So it's really cool. You will get to master like HTML, CSS, Figma, which is a tool used by UX designer. And it's a good way. It's free. It's online during lunchtime for 3 weeks on Mondays. It's a good way to learn and meet other people. So you're very welcome to join. You just have to follow this link, and I will put it on the YouTube chat. Don't worry. And that's it for me. Thank you so much. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of these social media platforms if you want to know about the next events and next opportunities at Le Wagon. And for the first alumni that I will be calling to introduce yourself, I know that Pedro, you're in a hurry, so if you want to be first, please introduce yourself in like 2 minutes. What did you do before Le Wagon? When did you do Le Wagon, and what you do now?
Yeah, cool. So hi everyone, my name is Pedro. Before Le Wagon, I worked on consulting, strategic consulting and investment banking. And after Le Wagon, I did Le Wagon because I want to make a career shift to product management. And after that, I joined like Udacity as a product manager. And right now I'm working at Facebook as a client solutions manager.
Thank you, Pedro. Who wanna be next? Daniel, you wanna be next?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Daria, and my history is pretty much the same. Like, basically, I used to work in marketing area, but I thought that I need a change. But I was a little bit confused what I want to do next. Then I figured out, okay, maybe programming. And how I found Wagon. Actually, I know that people learn programming. They got different approaches, right? They can learn by themselves from boot camps, from I don't know other courses. And I was trying to learn by myself, but I realized that it's not gonna work. So I was trying to find a different solution. And actually, a friend of mine just graduated from Berlin, from Wagon. And she told me about a school, and actually she convinced me. That's why I chose Rio. I came there, and yeah, I graduated in December.
Yeah. Thank you, Daria. And did you say what jobs you were doing now?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
No, I didn't. I found a job at the end of April, in the middle of pandemia, when we still were locked down in Poland. And I started in May. And I work for a Polish startup where we built a platform. It's like a job board. And actually, if you want to find a job, you can take a look there as well. But it's really cool. I really like working there because I'm a front-end developer. And I love the approach because, in a regular company, you would have everything like step by step, right? I don't know, mock-up, everything would be designed and, accepted by product and business and everything. And then you would just sit and build. But there, everything is happening at the same time. So, we got something from product delivered, we build it, then they change their mind, then they argue with business, then we change it again. It's sometimes it's tiring, but it's really cool because I learn a lot. I learn a lot, actually, like every day I need to solve some problem and I struggle, but I see the progress, and yeah, I'm really happy with this job.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daria, and thank you for being here with us. Well, it's like 11 p.m. for you in Poland, so thank you so much for your time. Next, Yuri, do you want to introduce yourself? As if you're not talking. Okay.
No.
Someone is
mic.
not muted. Okay.
Yes, but unmuted. Hello, everyone. I'm Yuri. I worked at the financial market before doing Wagon. I was a foreign exchange manager. So I did this change of career path. In this year, I was in the first part-time class, first part-time batch that ended by June in this year, and now I'm developer in the Juvenile. Right now, we are building all the e-commerce platform to connect B2B business of the company. So it's a challenge, and all this is a reality because of Milene, all the Wagon staff that could direct me to the right path. So Wagon was the right choice.
Thank you, Yuri. And what's exactly the name of your position?
I'm developer, backend developer.
Backend developer.
I'm working with Rails right now.
Rails, nice. Diogo.
Hi there, guys. My name is Diogo. Kind of different of everyone here. Before Wagon, I was studying for public office, like public education, to work for 2 states. And I was unemployed. I didn't have any. It was just like getting out of doing those weird tests, huge competition. And I decided that I want to try something different. That's why I picked Wagon. One friend of mine did in the past. He's doing great right now. So I decided to go for and do Wagon. Right now, I finished my bootcamp. It was in June. and I started working in July. I'm working in a French company. Right now I'm a full stack position, so I do the front end and the back end. My back end is on Rails, and the front end I use React. And most of times on top of that, I'm still dealing with the client to understand what he wants. And so it's kind of everything at the same time. It's kind of good because you can see different dynamics, how different positions, PMO, whatever DevOps do, and you can have a more systemic view of everything. So Le Wagon is the school that opened the door for me, and every day I go in this. We're gonna talk about it, but I feel very glad that I did Le Wagon. Every day I go in the Le Wagon Slack channel to see what is new. Sometimes I put my doubts on that. Sometimes I help someone else there. So it's very good community to be in.
Thank you, Diogo. And what a beautiful T-shirt you have. Taylor, you want to say about yourself? You're muted. You're muted. Yeah.
I'm Taylor. I am from Los Angeles, California. I did Le Wagon a year ago now. Previously, I was working in the film industry. I was getting pretty burnt out. I actually decided to go to Brazil before I decided to become a coder. But then I found Le Wagon bootcamp, and it changed my life, as their slogan says. I did the 2-month bootcamp, and shortly after found a job with a creative agency called Buck Design as a front-end developer. And a lot of my coworkers are actually called creative developers because most of their work is AR, VR, and artwork made with code. And it's really fun, and I'm learning more about it. But for right now, I'm doing a lot of front end and website experiences, and yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thank you, Taylor. Who wanna be next? Patrick?
So hi guys, I'm Patrick. I'm from Rio. I just graduated from the last batch in mid-September, end of September. So it's like a month and a half now since I graduated. I used to work in sales, 3.5 years of sales experience, but wasn't very happy with the salesman life. I don't feel it was much for me. And then with the pandemic, I had like time to decide what career I wanted now. And then I talked to some friends. I already had some idea about programming, and then I decided to start studying programming. And then I did the Le Wagon. Now today, 1.5 year, I'm working this really small startup that works with real estate, and I'm also teaching at Le Wagon. So yeah, that's more or less it.
Thank you, Patrick. Lucas from Minas Gerais.
Yeah. So I'm Lucas. I was a lawyer before starting Le Wagon and everything. And I really wanted a career shift. I really needed a career shift because I didn't like what I was doing and everything. And I was really into technology and stuff. And well, we know the market for developers is really hot right now. And so I decided to dive into the bootcamp and do it. I did it last year, in the beginning of last year. And now I am a full stack developer at a Rio fintech called Bis Capital. And I'm also a teacher here at Le Wagon. And it was one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
Thank you, Lucas. Who wanna be next? Who am I forgetting? Daniel, you wanna go?
No,
Yes,
I'm
so-
happy here.
No, Daniel.
Ah, all right, all right. Sorry.
No, me. Hello there. Hello, how are you doing?
Sorry.
Okay. Yes, I'm Daniel. I took the batch 330 last year and finished in December. I used to work with oil and gas and engineering. I mean, and I read the slogan, change your life, learn to code, and then this is what I want to do. And then I took the course, then it was awesome. I loved the batch, the people in the batch as well. And I found a job on engineering, so I didn't start to code still, but I still want to code someday. I still want to left my job actually, to start coding, and I still studying, redoing the exercise, and I didn't take the React track as still, but it's one thing I want to do. So that's it. I just came here to see the guys, see the people, but I'm not working with programming.
Okay. Daniel was mentioning the React track because at the end of the bootcamp, once you're done with the whole bootcamp, we allow you to do a React track. So it's basically classes, exercises. It's worth 3 or 4 days of work, I believe, because it's a really trendy framework right now on the market. So if you like to know about it. I don't know if Krista, you want to talk about your experience in legal tech? Okay, Krista doesn't. Okay. There was already some questions in the chat, but I answered them. I know there was a question. Sure. There was a question for Daria because they were thinking that you were not from Poland. They were thinking that you were Brazilian and you found a job in Poland, but that's not the case. Daria is from Poland, so she found a job in her own country. But I think that's a question that interests a lot of Brazilian people. If you guys have some tips on how to find a job abroad, either working remotely from Brazil or directly like moving abroad, if you have any tips for that. I know, Lucas, you found some freelance job abroad.
Yeah. What happened to me was that during the pandemic, I got in touch with an American company because, well, my sister had a relation with had a friendship with the CEO of the company. So I think it's really important to have, I don't know, if you have a contact or someone who knows people in companies abroad, it's a good way to start. I always think it's really important to keep your LinkedIn and everything updated. And I don't know, start sending resumes and everything.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
Add something. You know what, like in terms of this question, I think that's really like pandemia types really helps. Like, you know, nowadays everyone works remotely, and I think it's not a problem. Like, even though you are in one country, like working for another company in a different country, you know, it's not a big deal. I think, you know, as long as you know English at a good level, you know, plus programming skills, I think it's not that complicated. And as Lucas mentioned, like keeping your LinkedIn profile, you know, like ordered and updated, it's essential. And then just, you know, even though you got a job, I think it's a good habit to take a look, even, you know, in the very morning, just, oh, I'm gonna search on a LinkedIn or different, you know, like job boards. And you don't know, maybe, you know, one day you're gonna find an offer, and maybe in some country they're gonna looking for specifically a person like you. So I think it's a good approach to just, you know, keep searching.
And for Brazilians and thinking about the market in the United States, for example, good thing is that we have similar time zone. I don't know if everyone is from Brazil, but this makes a difference between, I don't know, hiring someone here and hiring someone abroad that is in Asia, for example, in which the time zone is different. I think it's a good thing for us here too.
And one thing that's really good about the Wagon is that we have a Slack channel that there are job posts like literally every day, like multiple job posts, and usually they accept remote. So the school itself is a channel for finding positions. There's the channel for Brazil. I assume there are for other countries as well. And there's like a general post where usually most of the jobs are remote. So there's like a special channel just that we have for finding like jobs remotely or not, you know, so that's also really cool.
A lot of other people said the pandemic has helped a lot with international and remote jobs being available. But then one cautionary tale is just make sure before you start the entire interview process, just reconfirm that they can give you a visa, and that they can sponsor you, that it is okay. Because I went through, like, with one company, multiple rounds of interviews, really hard, stayed up all night studying, practically got the job offer. Then they were like, oh, we have to sponsor you. And then that didn't work out. So just triple check.
Good advice. Does anyone want to add anything else on that subject?
No, just a point. If you're in Brazil and you're looking for remote, US definitely is a good spot to look into. I know I have some friends in UK, and when they are looking for visa, they usually look to Indian developers because sometimes they can get a better time zone or better paycheck. So definitely, if you are trying to look, you should look in US because the time zone thing is a huge thing when the people are looking for remote developers.
Okay. Diogo, I know that you work for a French company, right?
Yeah, but it's based on Rio. So basically, I speak with Rio and his team, and so on. It's kind of like separated. I don't have much contact with the French.
Okay, because there was a question asking if when foreign company employ Brazilian people, if the salary is less. I think we can answer that yes, most probably it's probably more than locally, but they probably also adapt. I don't think you get really paid in dollars or in euros, unfortunately. I wish.
No, but the salary is usually a lot better than we get here.
Still better than locally. Yeah.
It's worth it. Like we're cheaper for them, but it's definitely worth it for us. It's a lot of money for us, especially with the dollar the way it is right now.
It's still worth it, yeah.
100%. So it's like a win-win situation.
Yeah.
So she or he was asking about the average salary, but I think that really depends on the position, the company. That's a very large question. There was another question, and I think I'm gonna ask Taylor to answer it because I remember at another alumni night you mentioned that you found a flashcard question in one of the interview questions. So yeah, the question is, how well prepared for interviews and tests were you at the end of the bootcamp? Flashcards. So let me just say, like, for those who don't know, flashcards is basically a set of cards of concepts, definition, stuff you need to know about every single day, every single class. Go, Taylor.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My flashcards for granted in my first web development interview, they basically asked me every question that's on Wagon's flashcards, and I was at a complete blank, and I looked pretty ridiculous. And I made sure I did my flashcards after that, and it helped a great deal. So that helped to prepare a lot, researching online about different interview questions, asking fellow students and alumni what the interview processes were like. And then also being honest with the employers of saying, this is my first like whiteboard interview, like, you know,
Totally.
go easy. But yeah, Wagon prepares you well.
Does anyone want to add anything about interview process, test, technical test?
We hide technical tests.
How's the technical test in your company, for example, Daria?
No, in my company, it was different because actually I just got first interview. We are talking about tech stuff and my experience and what I know. Then I got the second step. And actually, that's all. I didn't have something like that. And I was happy about it because I hate it.
Pretty chill.
No, but you know what, like when it comes to interviews, like I remember before my first interviews, I was super stressed. But then I I realized that every single interview like learned me some, I mean, that taught me something that, I remember especially ones that I really like failed, but then I realized, all right, I need to focus on this and that. And with every single interview, I felt like, I'm better prepared. And I think it's super helpful. And you guys also should treat it like a, I don't know, like learning process. And it's good to, apply, have more interviews, and you're going to be well.
Awesome. Great
Yeah,
advice.
can I add something?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. When you conclude the Wagon, all the course, and you go to begin your quest to the new job and do all the technical tests and all that, it's a new world. So you really need to study and do as best as you can, but you have to have in mind that one of your best skills is your background in other jobs that you have before Wagon. That one was one of my greatest skill that all my job interviews people would ask, because they really want someone mature, someone that can have a good perception of the business and how to do things, that is not a junior in technical stuff and in interpersonal. I don't know if I said the right word, but you have to have these good social skills that if you worked before, you will have. So you have to rely on that a little bit.
Nice.
And that's it.
I also have an experience in this regard.
Yay, go Krista.
Okay, first of all, hi, I'm sorry I joined late. I'm really happy to see the people that were with me in the batch. It feels like it happened yesterday that we were together, but it's already been a year. Well, yes, in my experience, I'm sorry, I lost who was the name of the last person who spoke, but I really think it's true what he said, that the experience of those who are changing career, what they bring from their previous life story really affects what we do. In fact, right after I finished the batch in December, I joined one of these platforms. I don't know if someone mentioned this before I joined, but there are many platforms specific for different countries where you're actually contacted by the companies, because there is so much need, so much there's a high request for technical jobs, right? And in fact, I had many interviews lined up in like 2-3 weeks right after graduation. It was, I'm telling you, quite an amazing roller coaster moment. And I had a technical interview. I also had non-technical interviews, and ultimately I accepted the job where I was a lawyer previously. I still work in legal contracts now and again, but I was contracted by a startup to start in legal tech. And in fact, they liked that I had experience in contract writing, and they could see how I could start off even without that much hands-on experience in technology, that they were ready to start up with me on a totally new career, but they saw the marriage of these two aspects. And so I really think that, for example, writing your CV, you don't just say, I am a 2-week graduate, you have to go all the way back, go back to your bachelor's if that's applicable to you, whatever apprenticeships you've done before, volunteer work. I think it's really important why you do it, right? Because I will always remember once I did a course with a career coach. And she told me it's not enough that you say, oh, I am result focused, or these canned phrases that we. What did you actually do? What did you do in your previous life? What did you do before, which will affect me today? What is your value? I think it's really important.
Thank you, Krista.
Thank you.
Anyone wants to add anything on this subject? Otherwise, I will go to the next question, which I think applies to most of you, because most of you started your career during the pandemic. And the question is, how hard was it to adapt to a remote world when it's your first experience in the field? Like your first experience is working remotely. How was it? Or like in a pandemic state?
I can talk a little bit.
Please.
My batch began in Wagon, in Vila Moré, like normal life. So in the middle of my batch, the pandemic exploded, and so we need to transit to remote class and do lives and do Zoom calls. All that can give you some experience, give you some team experience to know how to work remotely. This thing is highlighted in my LinkedIn. My recruiters liked that. Now I'm working remote because of that. So Wagon is the right choice because of that too. So I can assure you that this is a true thing.
Just to make sure, like you're talking about the blog article you wrote about your experience at Wagon, right?
No, yeah.
Oh, there's also. Oh, you mean there's also that? Okay.
No, I put my skill remote thing. I forgot, but yes, I wrote a blog in the Medium that highlighted that and give me some
credit,
visibility.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, what about Vilas?
Yeah. In Wagon, I think you can have an idea how a good team works, because you have basically almost a daily. You get the Slack channel, you get the table, you can open tickets, and when you go in a remote job, sometimes not that well structured as Wagon is, but you already know what can you set as a target to follow. And in my experience, I got my job during the epidemic. I struggled a little bit in the beginning because I was getting in the different projects. I was getting a huge responsibility, a whole project in my hand. And the senior, I didn't met him in Flash. I only have his WhatsApp. And I have to test him every time I had a doubt. But the guy was super busy, and I was like trying to understand how the interpersonal conversations work in the team and so on. And I struggled a little bit. In the end, if I can sum up my experiences, like just go for it, and you just have to ask, right? And during the pandemic or the pandemic, just ask your doubts away, and you want to be an awful developer if you don't ask. Like, you're gonna be awful developer if you don't ask. That's a fact. Don't feel like, oh, if I ask, people will think that I don't know this, but no one knows everything. You just go and ask. And when going like a remote work, you be aware of this. Like, it's even hard to connect at the beginning. So you have to really go out of your comfortable zone and just like, all right, I'm gonna send an email, send this guy so he can go with me on a Zoom call, whatever, Teams call, so we can look at this part of the system. Just go for it. We need help. Even when you're shifting the careers, most of things you don't know. You know very well, Wagon, you know very well how to make a good system that's like the good practice, But in fact, most of the companies, sometimes one part of the code is a mess, one part of the code doesn't follow the convention. So you have to ask away. You cannot just like, I'm going to study this and then work on my box. It doesn't work like that.
Thank you, Diogo. Yeah.
No, just to add, my experience was a little different because when I started, we still didn't have COVID. It was last year. So I could see the transition from, I don't know, being in the office to being remote. I'm remote since March. And in the beginning, it was a little hard because I think, at least where I work, and it was really fast, and I wasn't prepared for it. And but now I think everyone is getting used to it. I see this by talking to other friends too, and what I can see is that things are you, for example, asking questions. I think it's something that is really important, and that it's easier when you are in the office, but it's not as strange as it was in the beginning. The process is more natural now. The companies are adapting, and I think we are adapting. And I think what is important here is that you should keep on asking questions and know that the companies are adapting, and everything is becoming more normal. I mean, this remote work thing, at least for me, now things are running smooth. It's better. It's, I don't know.
Thank you, Lucas. I think you guys already answered the next question, which was, is it hard for you to ask for your coworkers for help when you're working remotely? Because I assume, like, when it's your first job, when you're a junior, you have to rely a lot on the help of your seniors. And I think you guys answered this question already. Does anyone wants to add anything else about like remote working as your first job?
Well, the pros.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go Taylor. Go Taylor.
I started off in the office in the beginning of the year, so I got a little bit of the best of both worlds to compare, and it definitely is easier in the office. You can turn around and ask your coworkers, and I do find that remote, it takes longer for me to figure out a problem, to get someone to help me. But I don't know, personally for me, working remote was like a huge dream. So the huge plus sides too of that is, you know, in a world where we can travel again, you can work wherever you want. Your boss doesn't have to see your junior development like panic attacks when you can't figure something out, which happens to me regularly, but he doesn't know that. Oh, he just thinks I'm really good at my job. And yeah, I mean, and also working remotely, it's nice that once you start getting into the rhythm of it, and I don't know what it's like for other people, but for me, like, they'll give me a project to do in a week, and it actually takes me like 3 days, and I have another 2 days to like kind of chill. But
Shh, Taylor, don't say the truth.
It's a secret. Yeah, great.
You never heard that.
Office, but like, it has its perks working remote.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Like, sometimes you end the development quick, way before the deadline, but until the deadline, some weird bugs happen, or when you push to production, you can have. So this time is different. This time gap is to probably solve any problem that can show up. So it's not really like, oh, you're just like 2 days of not working. You put on your chronogram that you would have 2 days in case something else show up. So that's a good time management. That's what it is.
We have different perspectives here.
Yeah, don't follow my example, actually.
Krista, you want to add something?
Yeah, no, thank you. I've been working remotely even before I started my tech career. I worked for a legal company for 8 years without ever meeting anybody from the company. Never met one person. And I must say it was quite unique back then. But it is the norm nowadays. And I really think that it's really important to be super communicative, to have all the tools up your sleeve, to be most of all, what I would like to say is that ultimately it comes from you, how comfortable you are with remote, because remote work can be extremely lonely, extremely distancing yourself from others. We all know how hard that has been. Everybody has experienced this in the past 8 months. And having your own setup is of utmost importance. So I think that now is a challenging time, but this is also a great time to find out your little niche of and modus operandi.
Agree. Thank you, Krista. Anyone want to add any point?
Yeah, I would like to add something. I really think that Wagon actually prepares for that. I mean, I'm talking about the flow, because for instance, I started working remotely, and what we got, especially at the end of the course, when we, need to work in our teams, and this whole flow, this is what I have right now at my work. Every single day, we start from stand-ups, where we're, everyone is talking, okay, what I did yesterday, what I'm planning to do, what I struggle with. Then we back to our work. Then we use Asana. We got ticketing systems, and we got our tasks. Then we move, okay, I'm working on that. Then we move, okay, it's ready for code review, and so on, so on. And this whole flow that we got, it's really, really helpful. And you guys may think that, okay, it's just, like, oh, we work with team, we have fun and everything. But through this, really, you're preparing yourself to start working with that in a real job.
Thank you, Daria. I think it's also what I was saying to Yuri's class, for example, who was a part-time class. They started when the world was completely fine. And then from one day to the other, we had to move to remote work. And I think what I was telling you guys is that actually this experience on learning how to code remotely, working remotely with your team, it's actually going to be a strong bonus point on your resume once you will go out and start looking for a remote job or even just a job. But like right now, I believe that we mostly in Europe, where they have to go to lockdown again, the ability of working remotely is actually, they are looking for that skill now because we don't know where the world is heading right now. So you have to have that skill on your resume. I think we answered all the remote work question. Anyone want to add anything? No? There's a question from a future student who I believe is considering the part-time program. He's asking how much extra time outside of the class did you guys need to do during Le Wagon, like regarding exercises and tasks? I have heard it is quite demanding. What an understatement. Okay, guys, did you have to do extra hours outside of Le Wagon?
There was no time for extra hours. When we were finishing, we were going, straight to bed. I was just taking a shower and then go to sleep. That's no extra time.
No, in my part-time experience, you don't need extra time. Le Wagon won't make you do any homework, but you will want to do. So will be a little problem because some teammates won't be able to do any code, and you're going to want to do, but it's not fair. So you all agree that you only code in the class. So this was my reality.
I mean, I'm not sure how the part-time works, but for the full-time, I don't recommend a lot of extra work because otherwise you just burn out and you just won't stop learning. Like you code from 9 until 6:30. So it's like already a lot of hours. Not necessarily more hours will make you understand more. So you need time to absorb, to relax, think about other stuff. So it's already really hard and then like pushed agenda, so you don't need I think extra, unless you're like really lost at something that's you need some like basic concepts that you missed, then that might be a way. But otherwise, I just like it's already a lot of hours in 2 months for the full time, so I don't think you need more. Otherwise, you'll just burn, and then it will be worse for you.
Yeah, I think that's actually another good lesson that Wagon teaches you is how to like end your day, how to know enough, you know, to take a break and let your brain process what you learned, which is really important because as a developer, you know, when you have projects, there's always work you can do, but you have to know how to set boundaries for yourself and keep yourself healthy and sane to keep going for the long haul. So yeah.
Yeah, this is a thing that we learned that's agile. You cannot work 100% every day because like on the fifth day, you're gonna be like not doing very good work. So you have to find how much you can perform and still like keep that movement from long hours. So if you can perform doing 70% what you can do, but you can keep it up doing 90 weeks straight on 70%, so do 70%. So you have to understand how your body reacts because you cannot like push yourself so much in a day, then next day you want to perform because you burned out. So you have to, how much I can deliver and still make the best of it. And this is a balance that you have to find during the bootcamp because you can, if you want, not do anything, just do the bare minimum, but you know how much you have to work to push yourself, but not become overwhelmed. So you have to find this zone. And each every person has his own zone. So you have to find, even from outside Wagon, working on IT or any other thing, you have to find understand how body works, how your mind behave, and how much you can like put in 1 week of work, or how much you can put in 1 month of work, and so on. That's self-learning.
Thank you, Diogo. We have an original question on the YouTube chat from a psychologist who said he's focusing on professionals from the technology area and is asking, guys, how can I promote mental health with professionals from tech? Do you have any tips for him?
What's the question?
It's basically a psychologist asking, how can I promote mental health with professionals from technology?
Go in any meetups. You will find many people that need help because I think everyone needs that. I do analysis. I don't know how to say it's healthy, and because of pandemic, this life changing, all that, I think it's not difficult, but I'm not an expert about marketing and all of that, but I think you have a little niche. I don't know how to say it.
Definitely, we all need some help.
Yeah, that's actually a good position to go. You can do a platform or something, but actually every day you can see people get more aware about the effects of social media, all this stuff having in each and every one of us. So it's definitely a good field, I believe, in the future to have more platforms that with this social, psychological, like understanding, and to not like to make someone addicted to it, but to just make like in a healthy way.
Thank you, guys. There's a question from Rodrigo who's asking, how much time did it take you to find a job after the bootcamp?
Wagon have this research. Yeah,
we have this research that I think 70% of the graduates find their job 3 months after the bootcamp. But I must say, guys, that's great. I must say also again that these are pandemic times. Okay, it's different times.
Yeah.
To find a job.
I found in 2 months after I graduated. Yeah, it's not easy because a lot of companies shut down and we have a pandemic scenario. So any research that Le Wagon made, it was with data of before. So it's not fair to judge on that. But I think that a lot of position is opening every day, a lot of abroad position, because as Lucas said, we are a cheaper developers, workers, because instead of paying $4,000 to a dev in US, they pay 1,000 here. So even that is very good for us. Something like that. So don't be afraid. You will have a job if you look and be persistent.
Hi guys. Just like to add that it took me 7 months, but a guy called me through LinkedIn, and he called me because I was a student at Le Wagon. So it was really worth it.
Awesome. Congrats, Mahan. What's your job position now?
Hey.
I'm a full stack Ruby on Rails. So
awesome. Congratulations.
No, that's why he needed me, right? Because I did Le Wagon. But it was amazing that actually, after a lot of job applications, and it took me 7 months, but he called me because I went to Le Wagon, so it was totally worth it.
For a Brazilian company, Mahan?
Yeah, Brazilian company here in Rio de Janeiro, actually.
Mm-hmm. I think Le Wagon is getting pretty recognized now, right? We have many Le Wagoners spreading the.
It's 20 hours.
Oh, okay.
What?
Sorry, that's mine. But I follow up on what Mahan said. It was the same for me. At this legal tech company where I interviewed and actually got the position, although it came to a stop after the pandemic, but they had told me that they were really interested about hearing that it was Le Wagon, and they were totally into contracting someone who had kind of dove into the tech world through a bootcamp like that. And in fact, Le Wagon is the only one in Rio that does that.
I'm so happy for you guys. What about you, Diogo? I think you found a job pretty fast too.
Yeah, that was a lot of luck. I finished my less than 1 month. I was already working, but yeah, just the fact is, when you enter Le Wagon, you have a good portfolio. You can start from that. You just have to start to send your CVs and make tests. And sometimes you show up. In 1 month, I got 4 no's and 1 yes. You just need 1 yes, and then you're good to go. Just keep going. It's a matter of numbers. Just keep going. One day the fact is, when you get in a company and you're gonna see the levels of the other juniors, and you're gonna see, oh, I'm actually good, I'm not that bad. And after some time later, you will start to work. At the beginning, everyone thinks they are awful. 3 months, 4 months in, you're oh, I'm getting the hand of it. So that's it. Yeah, the most of the thing is more like a confidence thing, but you just have to keep pushing, and then you get a job.
In my case, it took me 3 months because I started in February to find a job, and surprised I found it on Facebook. You never know where you can find it, because every single day I was searching for a job on LinkedIn, some job boards, and Facebook, because when it comes to Poland, we got quite a lot of groups where people are looking for a job, and they are posting some jobs when it comes to IT. So I found my job right there. And it was also funny because that time I was focusing on React mostly, because I already knew that I want to focus on front end. But then I found a job with PHP, Laravel, and Vue, and I had to learn everything from the very beginning.
So are you working with Vue in Laravel?
Sorry?
Are you working with Vue and Laravel?
Yeah,
Oh,
Daria chose a fug life.
But no, but to be honest, it's funny how everything is connected. Because for instance, thanks to React, it was way easier for me to understand Vue. And because of Ruby, it was way more easier to understand PHP and Laravel, and everything is connected.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I think it's a great transition for the next question, which is how to deal with the imposter syndrome. I think that when new developers get their first jobs, they get pretty lost and are much slower than others. Do people in companies understand that?
I would say you get a lot of help. I mean, a company that hires you, they don't want you to like lag behind. So there's always seniors and other people, at least in my case, and some cases that I heard, that you get a lot of help.
For me, it was like that. In the beginning, I had a very hard imposter syndrome. I think a lot of people have. And I think to overcome this, you have to, practice and know that the company hired you for a reason, and that you need to ask questions, and that things will settle. I mean, things will be better. In my case, it was pretty fast, but I think it's pretty much like that for everyone. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Be curious. Ask questions every time. Any dumb question that you think is dumb, ask, because you learn, and the imposter syndrome will be gotten away by far. So in my case, I also I pursue new technologies. No new technologies, new languages. Not right now. I'm studying Elixir. It's a Brazilian-made language. It's functional. In the beginning, I was afraid because it's not like anything that I saw before. But I applied the method of Le Wagon, how to learn. We learned how to learn. So I applied all the method that Le Wagon taught me, and it's easy. So it's other good thing that you can get from the bootcamp.
Yeah, I really think that it depends on a company. And like in my case, I was also lucky because their approach is like, it's super cool because first of all, they were aware of that they are hiring a junior. So at the beginning, I was like freaking out a little bit because I was like, okay, I'm in a company, now I'm by myself, and I got some struggles. I don't know how to fix something, but my boss actually, he was always, he's been like always super helpful. Every time when I got some problem, he was like, okay, look, you're a junior, you're here to learn. Like, because we got two more juniors in my company. So he's always trying to send to us some materials, I don't know, some books or something to understand something better, some exercises. And yeah, every time we got some question, we can always ask. So that's the cool approach. And I think most of companies, they got it. They're just aware of that you're a junior, you still need to learn, and they still need to teach you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think most of my year has been battling imposter syndrome. It's like even with every project, I think I can't do it, and then it ends up getting done, and then you have to keep having to be reminded that I can do the job, that they did hire me for a reason. I don't know if there's any way around it. You just kind of have to fight through it. Like, I've been with the company for almost a year now, and this past project was like one of the first ones that they sort of just gave me to run with to build this website by myself. And I was using a new JavaScript library that I didn't know very well. And it was a short deadline, and I was panicking. I even called my boss and was like freaking out on the phone. I was like, I can't do it. You should have someone else do it. And he kind of called me on my own imposter syndrome and was like, no, you can do it. You'll be fine. That was the only pep talk I got. And because, he knew I could do it. And eventually I did figure it out. And I had to later call him and apologize for my freak out. But it's just part of the process. And they understand because they've been where you are at the same time too. Because my boss was like, I know how you felt. This is just one of those things where you have to jump in and make a mistake and learn as you go. So I think everyone that you're working with knows where you're coming from, so they'll be supportive in that way.
Thank you, Taylor. There's Jenna asking if anyone is outside Brazil. Well, I can tell you, Taylor is not from Brazil, she's from the US. Daria is from Poland. Who else did we have? Yeah, that's it for the international ones that are here today. It was kind of hard to have anyone from Europe because of the time difference. Let's check. I think that's all the questions they had. It's already been 1 hour now, and I know it's getting late for you, Daria. It's like midnight for you. So thank you so much to all of you. I'm so happy. I'm so proud. And I'm so like, I can't believe that like just a few months ago, you were asking me questions about the terminal. And today, like you go on some wild JavaScript framework. Congratulations, guys. I'm so happy to watch you accomplish your dreams and your career journey. If anyone on YouTube has any other questions, feel free to contact me. You can click on my head on the website to get my WhatsApp number and text me. We have reminding again that if you want to learn some coding basics, you can sign up to Programação para Todos. It's an online program in Portuguese. It's online, de graça. I just sent again the link on YouTube. And otherwise, in our next event, next Monday night at 7 p.m. again, we're meeting with the CEO of Pink, which is a WhatsApp company. And basically in Brazil, for the ones who don't know, everything goes through WhatsApp, even like if you're a business. And basically they took that business and made it another business for companies. So if you're curious about that, please come this Monday at 7 p.m.